Welcome back to the Tradepreneur Show. We got a great episode here. We're going to be talking about sales. I'm your host, Patrick Summers. Mike Costa, the co-host.
How you doing, buddy?
Joining me on this journey. I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here. Glad to talk sales. I love sales.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Watching that clip. I mean,
Is it really that easy?
Is it that easy? I mean, you already got a pen.
You got a pen. Half of the battle's won.
Look, so obviously, if you're in the trades, you got to sell. And one of the things I hear the most from people in the trade is, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to sell. I hate selling. I didn't sign up to sell. I just want to fix things.
Yeah.
Well, you're selling me right now on why you're not a salesperson.
Right.
But I've asked myself, because I'm a guy who, I've done a bunch of different things. I sold cars at one time at Jack Caruso Dodge in Jacksonville, Florida. No longer exists. And man, there was a lot of lessons I learned about, sales, but people, psychology.
Oh, yeah.
It's just absolutely amazing. One of the first things I learned in that job, one of the sales managers said, Patrick, people want to be told what to do. And if you tell them, they'll listen. And I was like, what? And he said, now, let me give you an example.
Yeah.
And he walked me through everything. And it's so true. People want to be told what to do. Most people want to be led, right? I do an experiment when I travel and I'm with people. I say, watch this. And we're waiting for our luggage. I'll go over to one of the luggage things, and nothing's there. It's not even moving. I'll just stand. I'll put my knees right up against it. Oh. And the people just start migrating over. Like I know something they don't, right? It's amazing. It absolutely, without fail.
Yeah.
But listen, I really, truly love sales because there's so much to it, right? And nothing happens until a sale is made, right? I'd still be single if I wasn't able to sell my wife and close her on why I was the right dude for her.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I had to sell her on why we should even go out. That's all sales.
Yeah.
That's all sales, right? However, there's this stigma around sales, that sales is bad, and there's always this referral to like the car sales.
Used car sales.
Yeah. And it's funny. I always think like everybody wants to have give sales a bad rap, and they always want to do the used car salesman. But there's this great line in I think it's Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? They get pulled into the Death Star.
Yes.
And the stormtroopers are in, come on the Millennium Falcon.
Yep. And
they're searching for him. They can't find him. And when they get done, they're hiding in these compartments to smuggle. And Han Solo makes his comment about like, man, I use these for smuggling. I never thought I'd be smuggling myself. And Obi-Wan Kenobi says something, and Han Solo says something about being a fool, right? And Obi-Wan Kenobi says, who's more the fool or the fool who follows, right? And I almost feel like people's stigma is because they did get sold. And they're probably happy with what they got sold. Mm-hmm. But people don't like being sold. And a good salesman never sells you, right? But there is that bad stigma. And I'm telling you, there shouldn't be. I truly believe there shouldn't be, because if you do sales right, if you do sales correctly, you are helping people solve their problems. And how do you do that the right way? Well, I'm a big believer in informing and educating. That's really what you're doing.
Sure.
Right? You have to inform and educate people. You have to help them see a lot of times the problems they don't know they have, and present the solutions, and then help them find a way to make that happen, to make that a reality. So one of the things we train big on is offering the solutions, right? So, and I also believe if you're in the trades and you're going into people's homes, you have to offer them solutions. And I want to go deeper into that, but I first want to touch on something with the offering the solutions and going into people's homes, and sales, because there's a lot of people be like, well, I don't get a commission. I don't get a bonus. I'm hourly. Okay, great. But you generate revenue for a company.
Yeah.
And if you want to make more money, you have to generate a certain amount of revenue for that company to justify paying you more money.
Of course.
They can't pay like this whole thing like, oh, why do you want a pay increase? Oh, I've been here for X amount of years. I don't care. What are we, the government? Like,
Exactly.
your time on the job means nothing.
Yeah.
Your performance, your dedication, your loyalty, your commitment, and the enthusiasm you bring every day is what matters.
Right.
Right. So there is a formula that you can, and here's the thing. You're going to get this from the website too, because I'm going to share the formula with you that you can say, let's say you make $25 an hour. I'm just using that number. I know there's people watching me like, oh, I should never do anything that I do for $25 an hour. All right. Be gone with yourself. But the reality is, we're going to use that number. Let's say you make $25 an hour, you want to make 50. Okay. There's a formula of how much revenue you need to generate out of your truck for the company to be able to pay you that. And there's factors that go into that formula that you may not be thinking about. So I'm going to share that formula with you. So you're going to know that formula. So regardless of how you get paid, you'll know the revenue your truck has to do.
Gotcha.
So you can go ask for more money. And guess what? When you go and ask for more money, you're selling. And if you can't sell, you're never going to get that pay increase. All right. So let that sit in your noggin for a minute and, marinate. Is that what they say? Marinate?
Yeah, exactly.
When you go into the home, whether you're hourly, commission, performance-based pay, a combination of everything, when you go into the home, your job is to find problems. That's your job, right?
Right.
If you look, I go to the doctor. Look, I'm on my health journey. I got a long way to go, right? Every time I watch this on YouTube, I'm like, oh my God. But anyways, if I go to the doctor for a physical and I walk in, he's like, man, not only do you have amazing hair, but your physique is amazing and you just keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Is he doing me any favors?
No.
I want him to find potential points of failure.
Exactly.
I want to be like, listen, dude, that belly fat's got to go, right?
Yeah.
That the labs, we're going to get labs and we got to fix some things.
Where's my cholesterol?
Exactly. And I want him to tell me my potential points of failure.
Yeah.
And I want him to tell me how I can improve. We have the same obligation. It's a moral obligation when we go into a home or a building or whoever you're servicing. You're looking for potential points of failure. So if I go into a home, I'm looking for things that are a safety issue, a comfort issue, or an efficiency issue, right? And then my responsibility is to bring it to the homeowner and share my findings and share the options. That's not selling. That's informing and educating, right? AKA sales. So you do that and you do it correctly and you do it from the right place. There's a great book called The Go-Giver Sells More about how you give. Like go in with a giving heart and things happen because that's the point, the place you're coming from. So you've got to get rid of that mindset that sales is bad. Salespeople are bad because they're not. Everybody sells. If you go to church on Sunday, somebody sold you on why you should go to church. And I'd probably stick to that course of action, okay? Because there's a thing out there like I'm going to go religious in a minute.
Sure.
Or for a minute. There's this thing about believing in God. And this one guy said, I'd rather believe and be wrong than not believe and be wrong.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So anyways, I don't know. I go down rabbit holes. It's my Alice in Wonderland moment.
It's a good segue because you were talking about morals and what to focus on when you go in the home and what you're providing the homeowner. And I think a lot of that is if you're doing that, you're staying away from the stigma of being the greasy car salesman.
Yeah.
And you're just going to try to unload a bunch of needless crap on them when you're going to go in and say, listen, your heating system, it's so old, you run the risk of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yep.
I am just showing you that.
Yeah.
Sleep on it and tell me what you want to do.
Happy New Year, Coachella Valley. This is Patrick Summers, President and CEO, General Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Listen, we all know that New Year's resolutions usually don't last, but with proper maintenance and service, your plumbing, electrical, and HVAC system will give you many years of trouble-free service. Give us a call, get it tuned up, get the inspections done. Let's make sure you're good to go all year long. Happy to take care of you. Happy New Year. Let's make this year, 2025, an amazing year.
And when I look at top performing technicians or salespeople in any industry, but I'm going to talk specifically in the trades, there's a couple things they have in common. One, all they focus on and all they care about is the call they're on. They don't even want to know what the next call is, because who is in front of me, right? And what are their problems?
The most
and
important
what is my
person of the day.
opportunity and obligation to them right now? Okay, so that's number one. They take a whole home approach. Meaning, so if you back to the medical, you hurt your arm, right? You go to the emergency room, and maybe it's an obvious break, maybe it's just some pain and swelling. They're going to treat that arm. They're not going to pay any attention to if you've got a cardiac issue going on, if you've got something in the brain going on, something somewhere else going on. That they're focused on that one thing,
Right.
And they're ignoring everything else. Versus, let's say, a doctor of osteopathic medicine that treats the body as a whole, right? They want to know more than just that. What is your lifestyle? What's going on? How do we heal you completely? Same thing. We go into a house. If you're an HVAC guy, you're going into the house. Whether you do another trade or not, or your company does another trade or not, if you see something that's an issue or concern, that let's say you're HVAC and you see a plumbing issue or an electrical issue, shuffle that any way you want. You have a moral obligation to share that information with the homeowner. Maybe you refer your own company. Maybe you have another company that you refer for those type of things.
Yeah.
But look at the whole home.
You're the expert they're leaning on.
Exactly. And when you go into a home and you see, maybe you're going in to fix a condenser, look at the whole system. Look at the ductwork. Look at the insulation. Look at everything that contributes to making that space safe, in this order: safe, comfortable, and efficient. And if you do that, that takes you to a whole different level, right? Ask the right questions. Said in an earlier episode, quality of your questions determine the quality of your answers and your outcome.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to ask the right questions, right? And you got to ask them in the right way. Open-ended questions. You've got to ask open-ended questions. Yes, no answers don't help you and do not help the homeowner, right? So ask the open-ended questions and ask the right questions and go deeper when you need to, right? Some of the things you want to know when you go into the home, regardless of the trade. Do you have regular maintenance or service done? When was the last time you had it done? When was the last time you had to invest money in repairing or fixing this system or that system, right? Who in the home suffers from allergies, asthma, respiratory problems?
Yeah.
Right. That could be a question for the HVAC side. Could also be for any trade, right? Do you ever have your lights flicker at any time? If they say, yeah, and that's not necessarily an open-ended question, but here you want yes or no. Okay, yes. Tell me about the last time it happened. Well, I came home and I was gone for the weekend, and I came in and I turned the air conditioner on. And when it turned on, I noticed they flickered.
Lights flicker,
right?
Sure.
So you go deeper. So the right questions. Here's a question you can use for anything, even if you're not in the trades. All right. Let's say you cut hair. Right. This question, just change it. But if you could fix, if I had a magic wand and I could fix anything about your home, what would it be?
I love that question. That is great, because you're almost kind of knocking down their defense mechanism a little bit, and you get them thinking in that paradigm of, I probably do a lot of stuff with my house, beginning with type of thing.
Yeah. And it may be something you don't even do,
No.
but you can say, you know what? I got a company we refer for that type of thing.
Yeah.
Would you like their information? Right. The other thing is when you're going through the home or the building, whatever it is, listen, today while I'm here, you explain what you're going to do. If I come across anything that's a concern for me, would you like me to share it with you? Right.
Yeah.
Like, if I said that to you, hey, Mike, while I'm going through your home today, if I come across anything that is a concern to me, is that something you want me to share with you?
Absolutely. It doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And what you just said is key. Understand you provide the information, the homeowner or business owner or building owner, they make the decision. And if you're an auto mechanic, the car owner makes the decision. One of the greatest injustices I see is when a technician makes the decision for the homeowner. They make a decision based on how they spend money or what they would do. And they withhold information. And I think one of the greatest injustices is when a technician thinks they're doing somebody a favor and keeping information from them because to them it's irrelevant. Like, let's say they got an older system and they're doing repairs on it, and the technician has this mindset, I wouldn't replace this. I can fix this.
So, okay.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And the homeowner may opt for that. But you withhold that there's an option to replace this because you wouldn't consider that. So why would they, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have the right to withhold that information. You present all of the information and you help them make the decision that's right for them. And so if you can do that, that's the right way to do it. And your findings, you should always present your findings in there's always this good, better, best, or must, should, could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's basically just this, always present the one thing or the few things that need to do to fix the system, right? So if a system's not operating, the lights aren't working, the water's not heating, there could be, hey, we got to replace this and that will get us working. However, these are some of the other concerns I have. So that'll get it working, but it's really not going to get you to where you need to be. Here's an option that I recommend to bring this thing back to the most optimum.
Yeah, get you up to speed.
And let's push off any other issues because we're going to take care of them now. Or we could look at just replacing this whole thing, and here's why.
As long as you give them options, right?
Correct. When I was in the field, and I tell technicians this, I would always give 3 to 4 options. Technically 4 to 5 options, because the one option would always be, I would say to the homeowner, I'd come to Mike, listen, I'm going to go through some of the options you have. I'm going to start with the most basic to get this thing, the problem taken care of. But I'm also going to share some options that are going to take care of some other issues that are going to become a problem for you.
Right.
And I'm also going to go over what I call the grand poop up option, right? But I want you to know something. Your very first option is do nothing. You have the ability to tell me no. And I'm okay with that, because if that's the option you think is best for you, fantastic. But I will tell you, after what I found in this diagnostic, I don't think that's a wise option. But know that you have that right.
Exactly.
Now, when you share that to a homeowner,
yeah,
one of the greatest things you do is you just gave them an exit. And because what are they? They're looking for the exit, and there's no exit, so they feel pressured. They feel like they have to choose one of those things.
Exactly.
But when you immediately say no, guess what?
Yeah.
There's the exit. You can leave anytime, right? Think about when police interrogate somebody. What if they start interrogation? Now you can get up and leave at any time because we don't have the right to detain you, but we're going to trick you so we can keep you here. Now, but you can leave now if you like.
Yeah.
They're never going to do that. Why? Because they're going to pressure you. Like you have to play this game. So when you create an exit for somebody, they relax and they're like, oh, he just gave me permission to say no. I like this guy.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're gonna have greater credibility to hear, to be heard out and share what's the options are. And at the end of the day, that's how you make things happen. That's how you solve people's problems. That's how you're a better technician and you make more money for yourself and you get greater satisfaction and fulfillment. That's how you get customers that are raving fans because they like and trust you and you help solve their problems. And that's how the company loves you. and gives
Yeah.
you more opportunity.
Sell without selling.
Correct.
I love
Correct.
it. What a great mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. So with that
Yep.
wraps another episode of the Tradepreneur Show, man.
I'm getting smarter and smarter each week. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe you have to go out with one of our technicians.
I really should one day. Just no, I'm not going to say live their pain, but to watch them put your knowledge
That
into
that
action.
would be kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Let you go out and spend a day with a technician, and then we'd have an episode on that. That would be fun, huh? We can get some action shots of you crawling through the attic.
I mean, that's so.
Put you underneath a mobile home.
Yeah. This is why we got sued by Costa.
Oh man, this is a lot of fun. I hope we're helping everybody out there. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. We want to kind of be hard hitting and talk about the things to be better in the trades, whether you're a tradesman or an owner or somebody interested in the trades. We also want to have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
And be a little controversial too. I really like that. And again, as always, Mike, thank you very much,
Thanks
sir.
for having me.
The team behind the cameras, Massey Pitts, Kelly Garcia, Mike Costa.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.